All right, I don't know how many games we're going to play with this, because this deck, I was just saying before, while the ad break was switching, this is the most punishing deck I've played in this game. So this is a 3-color control deck that's looking to keep the board in check with thunderclap, magnus, misanthropia, as well as Armageddon Angel down here at the bottom. And the way this deck generates card advantage is really sweet. So this path here, Rainbow's End, what it does is, at the end of your turn, if the top card of your deck is an enchantment, you draw it automatically. We also get a high starting health total, which is good for a control deck. And if we look at our breakdown here, which is hiding behind my face, I wish I could easily move myself. The breakdown here hiding under my face is this deck has 20 enchantments in it. So this deck basically with the path has a 50% chance of drawing a second card every turn, which is great card advantage. The other way this deck generates card advantage is through the use of the card Root of the World here. So that's why I call this deck Rainbow Root Control. So Root of the World is a 2-cost enchantment that says the minion on this lane has pay 1, put this on the bottom of your deck and draw your next minion. So most importantly, this works with the ephemeral or token minions. So I have my power here, which is reconstruct, which creates a 1/1 for 3 resources and banishing the bottom card of my deck. So basically, Root lets my power spend 4 to draw my next unit. I also have 4 copies of Eager Recruit here, which creates an ephemeral unit. And when you get into the really late game with this deck, which you frequently do, you can play your Eager Recruit, generate the Paris, and then cycle the Eager Recruit back into itself, and you just spend a mana to make a 1/1. You can also do something similar with the twins here. You can play a twin, cycle it back into your deck, get it back out, and have the copied twin for free still. And then a way to stabilize the game in the early game is we have a bunch of copies of beimeni Falls here, which says whenever a minion's created in this lane, gain 2 life. So this is like our stabilizing tool against aggro. I'm sure now that we just got done streaming that Stretcher deck, we're going to have someone's going to queue into us with Stretcher and just slaughter us. I'm not sure this deck is capable of beating the Stretcher deck, but if we don't queue into the Stretcher deck, I've been liking this deck against most other things. All right, we go first. So because this is a control deck, you frequently don't want to play out your Eager Recruits on 1 because we're not being aggressive with them. So what we want to do with our Eager Recruits is play them out defensively to block my opponent's aggressive threats. I'm going to burn Sapo here. So Sandscape is a card that looks a little bit interesting in this deck, but basically we're not interested in the desert effect on this card where my opponent takes damage for attacking us. What we're interested in is this is a cheap enchantment that we can possibly draw with our Rainbow Root to generate card advantage. But also we have these oases in our deck that say if we cast these to replace a desert enchantment, we draw a card. Also, what Rainbow Root does is it says when you replace enchantments with other enchantments, you gain mana back equal to the replaced enchantment's cost. So what that allows us to do is it lets us generate extra mana in the late game. Yeah, it's a ramp spell that makes extra mana. So for example, I'm going to burn off this extra Eager Recruit here. And then when I play this Oasis on this desert, I'm going to get a 1 resource refund from my Rainbow's End, which then allows me to play this Eager Recruit over here, which is great. This deck has a ton of really small moving parts to keep track of, and a lot of the games I've lost because I wasn't paying attention. I'm either like playing while watching TV or doing other things and just like miss something. So I think I'm gonna burn Twin here and go ahead and play Serpent's Den out over here. So Got snakes. You can see here, just like these random cards that are being drawn at the end of my turn are because the top card of my deck is an enchantment, and we have Rainbow's End. And again, this is why the little things matter. I actually probably should have played the Serpent's Den all the way on the right, because now this Sandscape can't create 2 extra deserts. Although there is merit to letting the Serpent's Den block extra lanes, so maybe it's not necessarily a mistake. Yes, the middle one costs 2, and the outside deserts it creates cost 1. Is exactly correct. So to burn this Rune of Denial here. This 4/3 over here is pretty annoying. So I'm going to play Keeper here, which any minion created on this lane gets immortal until my next turn. And then I'm going to go ahead and Divination 2, which usually lets me stack an enchantment on top of my deck so I get to draw it. So this card is super good in this deck. Yeah, the panorama on the desert, there's actually 7 different desert arts, and you can have panorama across your entire board. I think I made a small mistake here, and I should have burned a Sandscape instead of a blue card so I could play a Recruit over here and gain some life by blocking. Yeah, the core, like, the big question to whether or not games like this can survive is always, can they churn out good set designs year after year? So that remains to be seen. Their first expansion is going to come early next year. But the core game designs in this application are just so very good that, like, if they have good game designers, I think they can go a long way. So again, when I play this Falls here, it's actually free in terms of resources because it replaced a 2-mana enchantment. It did cost me a threshold, though, still, notably. I'm going to burn Sandscape here. So what do I want to do? I think I'm going to Scion of the Pride here. And then turn this into the Spirit, so that way it stops trading me. This also draws them a card when it dies, so turning that into just a generic 4/4 is good. Do I want to put a Recruit over here? I think I do, so that way they can't hit me with this and draw a card. And then I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to put Serpent's Den on top, because we draw the top card if it's an enchantment. Hit their face for 2. What's going on, Void? Yeah, during non-magic games, usually have a little bit less viewers, so I tend to toggle off sub-only mode. That's super good. This is going to have Agile now. This card's super good with Agile. So hopefully we draw a blue card next turn so I can play Thorsson and clear this out. Yep. So really hoping to draw a blue card here. Perfect. This eats this because this doesn't take damage from spirits. We'll play this out here so it can block the To Heavens and back. Oh, this would stop agility, wouldn't it? Yeah, maybe that was fine. Did I burn anything this turn? I burned the blue card. I'm going to play the Sandscape here in the middle. Let's go ahead and Divination, stack an enchantment on top. Perfect. I would love to draw a root. And we're at 15, which is stabilized relatively high here. We're currently ahead on board as well. Although they are in Armageddon Angel range. I do not have Mythgard decks on my website. It's something I'm going to be putting together soon. There's definitely been a request for that. I just haven't had time to do them up. I also need to find a good way to embed them on the website. Because, like, for Magic, I have a WordPress plugin that easily embeds, and I don't think one of those exists for Mythgard. Oh, it has overrun. Yeah, if I would have played this first, I'd have dealt 2. You silly people worried about winning the game. Ain't nobody got time to win the game, chat. Guess I can trade this here. Kinda. They're so far behind on board, we might actually just run them out of this game, which is kind of funny. All right, so I'm going to play Root here, which again is free because it's replacing a 2-mana thing. And then I'm going to use my hero power here to create a thing, and then I can use this to draw on the next minion in my deck. And then I'm going to go ahead and play Oasis here, which gives me a 1 resource back and draws a card. Don't really need Misanthropia, so let's burn that. Generally, the resources in this deck, you want to burn 3 yellow cards, 2 blue cards, and 5 orange cards. And then Clay Effigy is so good in this deck, because you Clay Effigy, make a thing, draw a card, and then cycle the Effigy to get another minion out of your deck. Correct, Sulkin. You do eventually kill them with your bombs. Usually it takes longer than this, though. If we win soon, it's going to be one of the shorter games I've played with this one. All right, and just like that, they're back in it. Yes, Root, if you clear all of the minions out of your deck, you can eventually pick one of your Interplay minions to loop every turn, which is very sweet. So Goliath's Web here notably suppresses Agile. So even though this is Agile from the To Heaven and Back, we're going to go ahead and Goliath Web over here soon. I'd like to redraw. We burned it earlier. I've got 1 Rune of Denial, which would be nice because it gets rid of an enchantment. Rune of Denial is a card I've gone back and forth on. I've considered playing another copy of it. Something that I could realistically see myself playing 2 of. So I'm going to go ahead and play Goliath Web over here, which gives me a 1 discount. Yeah, when it's good, it's great. I agree with that. I think I'm gonna burn. Usually you want more orange. Like I said, usually when I get up to 5 orange, but I kind of want to burn a yellow card. It's the only thing I have to burn this turn. Let's play the Eager Recruit here and cycle it out and see what we get. We might just generate some card advantage this turn, because Eager Recruit's basically a draw 2. Yeah, there's a twin. All right, so I'll put this here, and then I'll cycle this one through too with the Root. Sweet. Twins on twins on twins. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and burn Serpent dead and just play Falls over here, I think. Have a good one, Nathan. Always. Oh, they have their hero power to kill my 1/3. That's awkward. I should have played around that.
Mission. Do we have a mission?
Honestly, their board's not that scary, but I think I'm just gonna Misanthropia. All right, so what do I want to do? So all of these are gonna die next turn, and this is gonna shrink, and then it'll die in 2 turns. I can't deploy the twins this turn. I guess I'm just doing this and cycling it through. I'm gonna burn a twin. Yeah, if we have 3 orange, that's fine. I probably want to start being a little bit defensive and gaining a bunch of life with these falls, because my opponent's in the 10 mana range, which at this point we could get pseudo 1-turn killed with either rush minions or giving their minions extra standard actions is something that happens. So, like, next turn my play is probably going to be, like, deploy twins here and here to gain 4.
Atonement is at hand.
That's a big in. All right, with that being played there, I probably just want a sapo here. So one of the things that's super sweet in this deck is the way this enchantment works. This works by replacing. If I put this 2-mana enchantment over this 3-mana enchantment, I net a resource, which might be right here because I might want to cycle Sapo back into my deck. That's probably unnecessary. I'm just going to do this here and pass game 2. This is going to die on their turn. Yeah, they have resupply caravan in orange, is correct. So my goal is to start gaining a bunch of life here every turn to, like, get out of range of getting 1 turn killed. So I assume they're about to do this to him. Yep. My side has all these pictures because these are enchantment cards. And enchantment cards you play on a specific lane, and then the minion in that lane gains a benefit or bonus from said enchantment. So what minions are in my deck? There is a twin blanque, 3 eager recruits, and a Geddon angel. This is fragile at the moment, so it's taking an extra point of damage. So if this attacks it, it takes, So if I demolition speedway here, I lose this enchantment. But it would let this deal 4, and then thunderclap would kill this. Oh, I don't have triple blue, so I can't do that, actually, the way my thresholds line up. I could try and get lucky and hit my Geddon Angel here. I might just do that. Or 1 in 5 to do that. Never didn't have it, chat. And again, the reason why this works is I can deploy this on a... Yeah, 10 mana is kind of the max. So I'm going to deploy this on this lane here, which nets me plus 2 mana. Because of my Rainbow Root, I'm replacing a 4 cost with this. So then I play this here, which destroys everything. And then I have 1 left over, so I can loop her back into my deck. 10 is the max number of cards you can burn. There are other cards in the game that get you past 10, though. Like Oil Field here says if we replace a desert with it, we get to gain an extra mana. All right, so now, like I said, I want to just start deploying things to gain life. So I'm going to deploy my twins on these life gain enchantments. So every time I put a minion on lanes 2 or 7 here, I gain 2. I'm going to put twins on those lanes. I think I want to put Goliath down in the middle here, so that way it suppresses rush on a few of their things. I'm going to go ahead and create a minion here. This deck needs a Yarok. It does have a field. So, again, using the deck tracker, I can see what minions are left in my deck. So there's only 4 minions left. That's pretty good. So once I work out through the rest of those minions, I'll be able to loop Armageddon Angel every single turn. So my snake came in there. This regenerates every turn, so eventually I have to get rid of this, but it's not a huge deal. I'm through my Scion of the Pride already, which is kind of awkward. This puts them to 8, but again, they can't die while this is out. I'm going to start with Clay Effigy here and see what we get. Okay, there's a twin. So I can go ahead and put this here. And then the other twin plays for free, and I can play this over here. I can go ahead and cycle this one back into my deck, which gives me an eager recruit. I think I'm going to play an eager recruit out here.
Reporting.
So that way it's deadly if they want to attack in this lane. I have to discard a hand size here, right? Which is not too big of a deal because I've got a lot of cards that don't really matter. I don't need 3 roots at this point. I could start working on towards Bragi for Frenzy. I feel like I'm just so far ahead at the moment that I just want to, like, try and make sure I don't die by mistake, if that makes sense. So I want to just, like, be as defensive as possible so they don't, like, randomly push through a burst damage. That was an excellent draw. So that's a misanthropia. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that, which gives all minions -3/-3. And then is Gedden Angel and Twin Blanque are the only minions left in my deck. So when I put this here and cycle it through, I should get a Gedden Angel, I believe. Wait, there was an eager recruit left? Oh, I must have missed that. Yeah, I must have missed that. All right, and I'm going to deploy this here to gain 2 life.
Reporting.
I'm going to go ahead and play this here because it'll be deadly in the middle again. Just want to spread my minions out when I'm playing defensively here so they don't have a good lane to attack through on me. This will eventually die, but it's going to come back from this. Unless I can find, there's one Rune of Denial in my deck which will kill their enchantment. So I'd really like to draw the Rune of Denial here. This is the first game with this deck still. Does anybody remember? Have we played 2 games? I think this is the second game? It might be the second game. I don't remember. This is game 1. Okay. Okay, I couldn't recall. Oh, I love this deck. It's great. All right, so I'm going to slide this over and tuck this in, which should get me a Gedden Angel. Sweet. And then we'll play Gedden Angel. And then we'll tuck her in. And then I'm out of resources, so. All right, please don't OTK me.
Hey there.
All right, so Twin Blanque goes here. And then he cycles back into our deck, which gives us a Gedden Angel. And then I can deploy this over here to gain 2. And then I can deploy this over here to gain 2. And then I can deploy a unit in the middle to kind of space out nicely here. How do I feel about no instants in this game? I think instants are overrated. I think a lot of Magic players associate instants with interaction, and this game is incredibly more interactive than Magic could ever dream of being. I don't believe you have individual clocks in this game. I believe you have an individual action timer, but I don't believe you have should probably kill them before you deck. Maybe. Don't you tell me how to live my life.
Hey there. Reporting.
Do we have a mission?
Do we have a mission? Let's give him the clap. Are they dead? I didn't miss lethal, right? How does Root interact with an empty deck? You get back the same minion that you put into it. It works how we want it to work. TLDR, it works how we want it to work. It does not prevent decking, no. So I do actually have to kill them here.
Hey there.
There's a chance this deck wants 2 runes in it. I talked about that too earlier. What do I want to do here? They do just die to clap next turn, don't they? Could I have killed them this turn? Oh no, because this was saving them, right? No, they had this. This wasn't suppressed. Let's just gain a little bit more life. The thresholds really matter in this deck. Oh, roadway was lethal. No, I didn't have blue. I had to suppress this. Stop it, chat. The thresholds in this deck are very, like, playing a 3-color deck like this is very different than playing most other things in this game. Like, I get why people are messing it up having played a lot of this game, because a lot of the games I lost with this deck was because I was foobarring the thresholds early. All right, let's play one more with this one, and then I'm gonna call it a day. The old 2 games in 50 minute, special. We did. We are completing quests. You're not wrong. Yeah, I like that the what's it called? The background changes with what faction you're on. That's sweet. It's a nice attention. This game has so many good attentions to detail. This has been the deck I've been playing. Like, I play like 1 or 2 games with this before I like go to bed or while I'm on the treadmill. It's like, sit down for 20 minutes and go for it. We go first. We have our oil field in the opener. I played 2 oil fields for a little bit too. This card's pretty powerful in the deck. Getting up to an 11th and 12th resource with this card is super potent. It also makes these idiots free, which is super sweet. I'm gonna burn Demolition Speedway here to start. Ideally, you want to prioritize burning enchantments in this deck, because putting more enchantments back into your deck makes it more likely that your Rainbow's End is going to draw you free cards. Not a mirror. The opponent's deck is likely a blue-red aggressive deck that top-aided the what's it called, the Mythgard event a couple weeks ago, or last weekend. Yeah, they're playing a blue-red aggressive deck. I like how you can tell people who have played Magic in Mythgard and people who haven't, because people who have played Magic write U for blue, and people who haven't write B. Again, I can't see B and not think black. All right, so I'm gonna burn Misanthropia because I want to start working towards Serpent Den here. We get to deploy Eager Recruit over here though, which is great. I'm just gonna throw Clay Effigy over this way to draw a card. Just get another blocker down here. I have a resource still, but I don't have Orange Threshold, so I cannot deploy either of these this turn. This matchup's hard. This matchup is super hard when they find Fire Eater early. Would not be surprised if we just get run out here. All right, Misanthropia is a good card if we can find enough yellow thresholds to cast it. All right, can we draw a yellow card next turn? Cast this Misanthropia, get this Fire Eater off the table. Yeah, I don't have orange to play a guy because I needed to burn yellow to try and get to this Misanthropia. But if we replace a desert with this, we gain 1 maximum mana, which is valuable. Yellow card. Yellow card. This deck definitely experiences some resource variance compared to other decks in this game. Because you're trying to balance 3 colors, and thankfully we got there, which is great. Play the recruit out here and pass the turn, so all of their things are going to die next turn, which is great. Which is a good deck to use on a budget. The big red deck that I've streamed a bunch of, I think that deck's a great budget choice. You can very, very easily play it without some of the mythics at the top end that I have. That's so rude. Yeah, same Gundam. It's very, very well done. Alright, so this needs to go over here so my deadly unit can eventually kill this thing. I guess I can play Root. Actually, I can hero power here and then play this for free because this is occupied now. It's like the 3/3's killing me, Pelly, but this is the card that's preventing me from controlling the board. So like getting rid of this is a top priority. This is the card that's going to actually win the game for them. Yeah, the fact that they had this here was just like super tough. So I can Goliath's web here for free. Just cost me thresholds, which blocks this. And then I can Scion of the Pride here, which gives me this. So I can do this to stop it from killing my stuff. And then I can use my hero power here to block this. And again, just like this is why the Rainbow's End is just so powerful. Like getting that extra mana in the mid game too is really important. Like we're still in a medium spot, but we're en route to stabilizing with a couple of good draws. Yeah, deck links relevant, content relevant links are always welcome in chat. You think they're OP? No, I think the bonus deck is fine. I think Fire Eater specifically is just really good against our deck, which feels bad. But like that's just, sometimes your decks line up poorly. Just how it goes. Wait, really? They ate that to keep this around? Huh? Okay. Oh, that's a good draw. Turnabout's fair game, chat. Goodbye, friends. One of the other things that's interesting too is you can see we didn't draw the top card of our deck this turn, so this gives us information to think about for next turn too, because we know we're going to be drawing a non-enchantment next turn. Because the top card's an enchantment, we would have drawn it with the Rainbow's End. I don't know, like, my opponent had two of their best card against us very early, and then, like, they had their one of this to put us in a bad spot, and we're still kind of okay at the moment, right? Like, my opponent is kind of running out of gas. If I can find, and one of the things that's important, one of the things that's actually really worth noting is we're actually kind of unfortunate this game that we've not drawn one of our 3 yellow enchantments that heal us whenever we deploy a unit. Generally speaking, those are some of our best cards. Perfect, like there, right on cue. Beimeni falls here. So now we'll get to start gaining 2 life a turn. And we've got Root set up here to start generating card advantage off of these things too. I think you like just trading the 1/3 there to get to Root my construct. My 1/3 didn't trade. It's not deadly if it's not on the web. This is only deadly when it's on the web. Yeah, I cut a bunch of the cute cards from this deck. The original list someone had given me when I asked for deck lists regarding this, like, that had a bunch of, like, kind of adorable things in it that I just cut them for good cards. Is the best way to describe how I changed the deck from what I was originally given when I asked for How much money do you think it costs to build a couple competitive decks in Mythgard? Depends on which ones. Like depends on how many mythics are in them. Sick. All right, we're en route to stabilizing here. We're gonna gain 2 life a turn for the rest of the game. I really think this deck and the way the card advantage in this deck works really highlights in a sweet way how the path and the powers work in this game in terms of like deck building. That's awesome. So this replaces here. So it draws a card because I replaced a desert. And then this can come down here and is invulnerable till end of turn, till the next turn. Slide this over so I can turn it into another unit. There's our Armageddon Angel, sweet. This can draw a card and then put a card from my hand back into my deck, which is great because I really don't need this demolition speedway. Actually, I need this less. I haven't burned a card yet this turn, right? So let's do that. And then we'll create this here. And gain 2 more life. Yes, the fact that our warded, in fact, we're playing all the warded units in this deck. So some of the decks in this game you can budget and play less mythics in. This really isn't one of them because your warded units not dying to angel destroying everything is key to this deck working. And also, you know what warded also does? It means I can play Sapo here and not lose my guy. That's what it means. That means I can play Sapo here and not lose my guy. So let's slide this over and draw a unit with it. Hey, look, there's some twins. Let's do this. Throw this back. Let's put Clay Effigy here, which draws a card, and then we cash it in. Let's burn this for an orange. Yeah, we're solidly in garbage time at this point, I think. They already played their Gigametra too, right? Was that last game? That was last game. Okay, they could have the thing that destroys or banishes all things with 4 toughness or more, but like, my hand's so good at this point. And I think I've made this deck a lot better since I started playing it. My win rate's just over 50%. But I definitely like, when I asked, this deck started as an Earth Slide deck. I asked the community for like, what's a good Earth Slide deck? And I was given this. Reconstruct used to cost 2. Yep, that sounds busted. Are they dead next turn? Yeah, they're dead on our turn. This is sick. So we get to give this Frenzy from Baggy, play Demolition Speedway, and then get an Angel, clear their board. So this gives it 2 extra attack. This gives it Frenzy so it can attack twice. Get an Angel destroys everything else. Let's attack with these first because it's technically correct to do so. Yeah, there's the fact that the aggressive decks even get to play sweepers in this game makes Earthslide really mediocre. Masters 1, Mithril 1, whatever it's called, M1. We hit M1, chat. We did it. And this is my favorite deck in the game right now. This is my favorite deck right now. I'm glad we got to sneak a little bit of it in here at the end. So this deck list, if you want it, I'll post in the subs Discord here momentarily, and then for everyone else, it'll be up on the YouTube channel in the video description once those get posted later this afternoon. Thought you switched decks in order to lose. Maybe this deck's actually okay. Things to consider in this deck, because I've been playing this one a lot. It's possible that depending on what decks you're running into, that a second Rune of Denial could be good in this deck. That's a card I've considered. I've gone back and forth on whether or not I want another oil field in the deck. Getting to 11 and 12 resources is very good sometimes. Wonder Drugs, I'm not sure a card I want in this deck, because like as you saw in those games, we gain enough life with the falls that this card's not super useful. So like this slot has gone back and forth between like a Rune of Denial and an oil field. Right now I actually have it as a Wonder Drug in large part because I want more yellow cards, because hitting triple yellow for misanthropia on curve is pretty important. Like the reason why we won that last game was because we were able to hit that on curve, fortunately. Also, it's also possible that like, and this is actually something I haven't done yet. It might just be right to just max out on falls. Like one of the reasons why we almost didn't stabilize that game was because we didn't see a falls until super late. And like, this is generally a card you want to see 2 copies of, so you can start gaining 4 life a turn in the mid game to stabilize very quickly. At any rate, thanks everyone for watching. Remember, if you're interested in more Mythgard content from me and this is your first time watching, if you head on over to my website, there is a videos drop down there where you can click Mythgard down here at the bottom, and there's a bunch of videos up here at this point of me playing different decks. If you click through to my YouTube channel to watch the video on YouTube, in the description of each one of these videos is the deck list that we're playing in that video at the end, so you can easily copy and import it directly into your client. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to be taking tomorrow off because I'm going to play in a paper magic tournament. I'll be back on Monday, and I believe my schedule for next week is Mythgard on Tuesday and Thursday, which my schedule is also on my website, so let's take a peek. It looks like I'm planning to do Mythgard on Tuesday and Thursday afternoon next week. Catch you all around. Everybody have a good one. Thanks for hanging out through the end. I'm going to run one more ad roll at the end here to meet my quote.